That was a gun.
I'm not voting.
If we want to build our nation.
The problem with the Somalians.
Just want to experience something else than a black man.
Move on, move
Can't be like a horse with blinkers on.
Honestly say, I was about to have sex and then I pulled
crap,
up.
but it's nice.
Hi, I'm Justin. I'm a young entrepreneur and yes, I'm here with my friends.
Cool. My name's Graham Wilson. I do electronics.
Hi, I'm Marco. I was born and bred in Brackenfell, right here, and I'm a live sound engineer.
I'm Chris, I'm from Belleville, I'm unemployed at the moment.
Okay, I'm Chris too. I'm also from Brackenfell. I study teaching, and I'll be a teacher next year. So, academic language might go down, become less and less. But the spoken language, where me as father teach my child to speak Afrikaans, and the community will go on, because Afrikaans as academic language was created by the Apartheid government basically. So, because to promote nationalism, whatever. And then now suddenly we discovered it's not really working. It only works in South Africa. We need an international academic language to compete with the rest of the world. So, do you want to keep it as academic language in our schools? Maybe in our schools, but in universities, it's a debate. What do you think? Should we keep Afrikaans in universities and colleges as language of instruction?
I studied electronics, so it's very hard to communicate with my colleagues in Afrikaans because I studied in English. And especially when it comes to electronics, there's a lot of phrases and terminology that, you know, I just can't see that happening in Afrikaans, you know. But I'm not very worried about it. I think language is like, I think as long as people can communicate efficiently and we understand each other, I don't really, I'm not worried about language or what language I speak to you in.
What we doing in one of the businesses I'm involved in, or what we're thinking of, is actually doing African languages as a subject almost once a week or once a month. Take everyone off to lunch on a Tuesday and actually teach them an African language to...
Can I join?
The cleaner at my office actually teaches us little words and yeah.
I think it should be in English, like teaching in English, because nowadays it's become such a... I mean, how many people go overseas? You know, I mean, if you go to like a country like Brazil where they speak Portuguese, I mean, you're going to speak English to get through to them, because that's the first one you're going to think, that the first language you'll think actually they might understand you.
But maybe it's a good idea because since the state is not providing these language classes, maybe corporate companies should actually start the initiative and then maybe get the ball rolling and get everybody to communicate and calls out on a Tuesday or whatever.
It's kind of like that. It's like we wait for governments to do something about situations where the fact of the matter is we're actually in control of our country. We are the guys that's keeping everything running, and we make the rules. Or I think we do. We should have the initiative and take the point and show the government where they're lacking.
I also like meeting different cultures, different religious cultures, just to find out how they think and how their religion works. What's the rules and what's the advantages? You can't really say religion has advantages. A religion is a religion, but I like speaking to people from different religions and just to find out how it works. I'm curious, just to see what it's like being a Hindu, or Muslim, or Jew.
I made the mistake on Guy Fawkes Day to say Happy Diwali to a guy that wasn't of that religion. I still don't know what religion that is. And I said to the guy, and he said, well, I'm not that religion, but this guy, and the guy was standing next to is, so you can tell him. And then I felt a bit silly. Well, happy Diwali, guy. So
we're ignorant. No. Yeah, I guess we're very, like you said, we live behind a Boerewors curtain, so we're very ignorant to different religions. Maybe a
But
problem.
I mean, a lot of us work in town, or a lot of us have to, go work in the city or the southern suburbs, and then you meet different people from different areas around Cape Town. And then, like, to me, like when I started working in town a while back, to me it was almost like I got a kind of pleasure out of it, just speaking to people with different cultures and different religions, and just finding out how they think, and how, like I worked with a Muslim lady, and just like every time it's Ramadan or whatever, she would bring food, and I would ask, what's going on here? I know you're fasting, but how does it work? Can you do this? Can you not do that? Or just to find out. To me, it's like, but when you get back to here, it's like you don't care about that.
in our culture, we'll open the door for a lady to walk in first. And in an African culture, it's almost rude to presume that the guy would walk in. You open the door for the guy because you.
Guys walk in to check the door.
Yeah, in an African culture, the man would walk in first to check that it's safe, which actually makes sense.
I had a colored friend, which I had introduced to my parents one day, and they were, I don't know, I think they were confused about what my methods were, or I don't know. But yeah, my intentions. But I don't think it's because they don't like colored people, but they also think about, me and my future.
But it's so weird because, I mean, my dad would also not mind, but I personally would still be worried about, like, what are they going to think? Like, what's the situation with me?
What's society gonna think?
Yeah, what's society going to think? Not. I don't care that much about it, but I think subconsciously you do still think about it. It's not like as easy gonna if I bring a white girl out. But the fact is, like, it's very difficult to get into that situation because, like I said, we're here in the northern suburbs, we mix with our people, we don't, we're very like a clique.
But it's also a mental barrier you have to break.
I guess when the opportunity is there, you'll have to decide, because you can't really say if you're going to do it or not. If you don't, you can't really create it in your mind. You can, but I mean, you don't really know if your heart's at that moment, I guess, and it's up there, the point reaches there, then you'll make the decision.
I also suppose
it doesn't really matter.
It comes down to who you met. If you met the love of your life, why not? Are you going to be, well, I can't do this because you're black or you're English from the southern suburbs. Once you meet your life partner, it's fair game. It's the way it should be.
Again, and then again, it's the person. You look at the personality instead of the color, but
when it gets to that level, you look past skin color, you look past culture.
No, but then again, is it really gonna? Because then you think about your parents and the society you live in, and yeah. So, but if you really like the person, like it's all love the person, it doesn't matter.
I think it depends where you hang out in your circle of friends, because this has been my circle of friends for, I think, since standard 3 for some of us, or standard 3, sub A, 1993. And I suppose it's the type of person you are. If you're an outgoing person and meet new people type of guy, then I don't think race matters. But if you're just stuck with your friends and you're happy and you grow old together, you might meet a colored guy or a black guy or an Indian guy. You'll have tons of fun with him, and maybe that's one of your friends for life as well?
It's
what
a
about
cultural thing, man.
It's a very cultural thing.
If your parents can't get along with your girlfriend's parents or your wife's parents, it's just more difficult. It's not to say that they don't like them, but it's just a clash of cultures.
What about taking a black guy home to meet your parents? What would your parents say then?
Any guy.
Recently, a close family member actually took a colored, one of my cousins, he took a colored boyfriend home, and his parents kind of were shocked, but then they accepted it because they actually liked the person, they actually got to know him, and then they were like, oh, but he's nice, and they invited him to all the parties, and he helped with the food and whatever, and then, it was like, everybody was like, even his brother is like, almost very racist, but he was like, yeah, I like this guy, whatever. So I guess if you get to know the person, you look into the skin color, but actually when you get to know the person behind the skin color, it's different.
But I still think it comes down a lot to the lack of understanding of different cultures. People tend to fear what they don't understand or what they don't know. So it comes down to that at the end of the day. I mean, like you said, if you see two black women screaming in the street at each other, you're gonna think, "Jeez, that's rude." But to them, that's good manners. I mean, and even though we know this, we know that's the situation because we were told that, like in the diversity class or wherever. I still think, "Jeez, that's kind of rude." It's because our culture, our Boer Afrikaans culture, has been like drilled into us so deeply that it's hard to break away from that. That's why I think this country is still up and coming at this moment. There's a lot of opportunity here at the moment, but I think with this next generation, next 20 years, next 30 years, it's just gonna be a great country.
So what you actually say, your kids?
Yeah, my kids. It's gonna be a great. It's not a process that just happens overnight. It happens within generations, I think, or within like decades. So we've come a long way in almost 20 years now, and it's only gonna get better. But it's not. You can't expect something to just happen like that overnight.
Interesting thing at my company when I was just employed there, they send all their new employees. They call it diversity training, where you for 3 days you interact with other. Also new employers or people that hasn't gone for the diversity training. But you interact with them and you tell them about your hobbies and your background and who you are and your views in the world and just we do creative stuff together. And then you actually realize that this black person or this colored person or this Indian person are actually the same as me, we all got the same needs. And that opens up your eyes towards that because now you go back after that 3 days of diversity training and the Monday you're at work or the next day you're at work. When you approach a person with a different background to you, you got a little bit more patience with them because they might not understand English as good as well as you do, or they might not know you're actually Afrikaans, you can't speak English well. Or I think that's a very good thing now.
My dream is to be able to be whoever, or to be able to see someone for who they really are, not for not just seeing like the image, like that didn't make any sense. Well, that's my dream anyway. Yeah.
My dream is to lie on my deathbed one day and say that I lived a good life and I gave my family a good life.
Well, my dream is that everybody on earth can have total freedom, freedom of speech, personal freedom, to have this idea that you can literally be anything you want to be, and to make a positive contribution wherever in whatever I'm involved with.
My dream is to have this happiness live forever and to have everyone I know be happy forever.